Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of No Man's Land Let's Play series. So, just a quick update from the last video. So you can see I've planted some crops. So I've got some soybeans on the go at the moment. So I'll just turn my menus back on. So I've got the help window off. I've turned that back on. Field info, I want that back on. And precision farming information, which is down the bottom. So there we go. So we can see expected yield of 92% and 73%. So basically the whole map is soybeans. So just to get a bit of extra cash. It's currently raining at the moment, so I'm going to fast forward time. But I've made a few changes to the map area. You can see I've put the main silo in. So this is the 16 million litre Neuro, I believe. So NL16, 22, 16,000. So that's got 444,000 litres of wheat. I've still got some crop in these harvesters that I'm waiting to empty. And we've got our front loader that we had to use to tip over the road train because we had a bit of an accident last video. So I think in terms of growth state, we are just about ready to harvest. So I'm going to go back to the shop, sleep for one more day, and then hopefully ready to harvest. So hopefully it's not raining either. That would be very good. So the plan for this video will be to begin the harvest. I don't expect to get it all done in one video. I also want to start expanding. There we go. All ready to go. And I want to start expanding one of my other fields. So we'll get these harvesters underway. So if any of these guys have got wheat, I'm just going to drop that off in the silo before we begin. So these are the Colossus harvesters. You've heard me mention these before. So they've got the unrealistic speed, harvesting speed, and also capacity. So they're about 4 times as fast as a normal harvester, and they carry about 8 to 10 times as much as the largest base game harvester. So in the interest of saving time on this map, that's the reason why I've adopted them. And my understanding is they're relatively new to the game also, so just so we get a bit of an idea of how quick this thing goes. So I'll hire a worker, and you can see we're building up speed now. So these guys will get these fields done very, very quickly, which is great. So I mean, once this map is all ploughed and the fields are the size that I hope they will be, it becomes very, very lengthy in terms of harvesting. So I want to be able to do other things, especially as a solo player. I mean, I haven't got hours and hours to plough fields and do all that sort of thing, so use a little bit of unrealistic technology in the form of mods just to sort of help things move along. So I'm still planning out the town area. I mean, I've got the silo in. I haven't put the farmhouse in yet because I haven't quite decided what I'm doing there yet, so I'd rather not rush it. Get it right the first time. Get it looking good. So I'm more concerned about finishing the actual farmland. So putting the plough, getting everything ploughed, and putting the roads in the way I want them to go in. So So we'll just empty out this guy of wheat. So I had quite a bit of crop left over from the last harvest that I hadn't dropped off yet. So I had a road train full. So my road train that's up that way. So that guy was full. 360,000 litres of wheat. Which again, that's using the underbelly, the Lizard underbelly trailer, which holds 120,000, which is the highest of any trailer in the game, and obviously not realistic, but very handy for a map this size. And these 6 combines will eat up these fields very quickly, so you can sort of see, with all the trees gone in no man's land, you can pretty well see from one end to the other, which you can't really see when the map is in its normal state. So it is quite a big map. My understanding is the console maps are maximum size of what they call 2x2, so 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers. So whether that's to actual scale, not 100% sure. But PC end up with they can get 4x, so 4 square kilometers, or 4 kilometers by 4 kilometers, which is pretty massive. I think that the PS5 would have a hard time handling that sort of graphic capability. Okay, so he's underway. Alright, let's get the next one underway. So we're sitting on about 18.5 million at this stage. That was due to selling all the buildings, selling all the crops. I've slept for a couple of days to obviously get this harvest ready. So every time I sleep, my solar farm and wind farm pay me some money, which is very handy. Now what I'm going to do with this guy is I'm going to drive him all the way down to the other end, so he works his way back to the farm. So I potentially don't have to drive the harvester back so far. So it's a little bit of driving up front to get him, far away from the farm, the main farm at least, but it saves me having to drive all the way back later on. Because the workers tend to work their way from the centre out as opposed to inwards, so hence why I'm driving this guy all the way down here to begin with, and then he'll start working his path back to the farm the main farm. Okay. And this happens quite often when they get in close proximity, so what I'll do is I'll move this guy. And we'll get him underway over here. And we'll just watch him roll for see how quickly he can do this section of field. So you can see, makes pretty short work of that run. You can see how much they've done already. This is only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 combines underway at the moment, so we'll get the 6th one going. And I will probably take him over to... I'll take him over. Send him over this way. Now, one thing I like to do is I like to sort of split these fields up, so sometimes what I'll do is I'll send the combines through the middle, and then they can start to divide up the bigger field into sort of a smaller field so they don't run into each other as often, which gets really annoying after a while. So okay, I'll send him away, and let's check how we're traveling. So this guy's already done quite a few passes of this field. And this guy's got 33, so he's about 20% capacity, which is good. $53,000. So soybeans don't yield as much as other crops, so I won't be doing as many trips, which is good. Alright, so those guys are underway, so while they're doing that, I am going to start ploughing out this other field. So I'll need to move some of that equipment. I'll grab the JCB for that. And I've also got to move that little mountain over there, so that's probably going to be something for today. So I'm going to use the plow tool, the plow texture tool, sorry, so that's the ground state that you can paint on the map. Just in the interest of saving time. And, you know, I've already got the 6 workers underway, so I can't have any more, so rather than getting, you know, one of my other tractors and one of the cultivators that can do field creator, so it's a mod. What they tend to do is they tend to go a bit wayward sometimes and go into areas that you don't want them to go into, so I'd much rather sort of just paint it, go over it once the main outline's complete. So but it's also about maximising the time that I've got. So I did move these in a previous episode off of the main area. But I did need to spread them out because the game was starting to get a bit of a frame rate issue because they were too close together. So I think that might just be a limitation with the PlayStation and the amount of vehicles, and especially when you've got six workers going, it tends to, on this map in particular, I've found, get a bit stuttery. So if anybody knows how to fix that on PS5, that would be awesome. I have heard it's to do with keeping the PlayStation cool. It can get a bit hot. But especially early in the play session, like I would figure that the PlayStation's not that hot, so it wouldn't be an issue. But could also be the recording, I'm not sure, because when I watch the recording back, it's generally pretty smooth and not really having any issues. So if anyone's come across that previously, that'd be awesome. If you leave a comment, give me some input. But it could just be a characteristic of the PlayStation, so who knows. So the other plan is to once I've played out all the fields, I want to get seasons turned on and play with seasons on. I don't normally play with seasons on because it slows down the harvesting cycle. But I think what I want to do is go a little bit more realistic with seasons and spraying for weeds and such things, and dividing up these bigger fields into potentially slightly smaller fields so I can have a bit of a crop rotation underway, a little bit more of a realistic large-scale farm. Alright, I think that's it, or is there one more? And the big bud seeder, we'll get rid of that as well. And one other thing with this map is I've not seen anyone do No Man's Land the way that I've sort of done it. A lot of guys use it for logging, which makes sense because there's a heap of trees. It's easy in the survival mode to get a chainsaw and either the pickup or something similar, and then you can just sort of chop down trees, make money that way, start building your farm out. I don't see a lot of people who remove all the trees and the rocks via those 2 posts out the front of the shop. So it just gives the map a totally different feel, totally different look. I mean, I do like the rolling hills. That's pretty cool. Alright, that's all done. So let's have a look what's in the used department. Oh, we got a Fendt. So I always check out the sales. I'm actually going to buy this, so wonder if I can get dual tires, dual rears. I reckon I'll go with the twins. I'll put the IS Asaria Pro compartment on. Cool. Alright, we'll have a look at that later. Alright, so let's do some ploughing. So here we are. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend this field out towards that rock. So what I might do first is I'll get rid of this rock. Now the best way I've found to get rid of these is go to the landscaping tool, go the level, and pick an area. So basically let's go from about here and then just drag it into the central part of the area that you want to flatten. So we're not trying to flatten this whole hill. What we're trying to do is just take out the bulk of this central point. And you can see how much money we're spending as we do this. So as long as you keep that X button held down, you'll maintain the same level as to where you started. So you sort of see that now if it does look a bit sort of janky and bumpy, that's fine. Yeah, so we can see we've taken out the bulk of the hill. So what we'll do is we will start leveling it from here. So I may have gone a little bit too far in the first direction. Yeah, there we go. It's now starting to look a bit better. So I'm going to lift this back up a little bit. And then what I'll do later is I'll use the soften tool. So what sort of slope have we got? Now you can see there, so we've taken out quite a bit of the main bump. So we'll take it back to the top here. I'll just fill in this area a little bit that I took out. So I actually overdid it here. But that's fine. So we can sort of see how that's looking. So let's get onto ground level. So I'll drive over there with the pickup. Just check on the combines. So he's needing to move on. So I'll send him over into this field. The other guys are going alright. So I'll have to start unloading the grain carts soon. So that's generally what happens. When the harvest time is on, there's usually a little bit more work. When I'm seeding these big fields, it takes a bit longer, so I can terraform and paint the fields a little bit more slowly. So here's another mountain that we took out. You can see that it's flattened out. It's a little bit bumpy still. But it's good to sort of do this up front before you try and extend. Yeah, so it's definitely not really in driving condition. There's obviously a bump there I've got to fix. So that's fine. Alright, let's check on the harvesters. So generally what I'll do is I'll wait until the grain tank is full, and then I'll drive the road train up alongside, let it empty, and then it'll just continue on. Okay, let's... Alright, let's try the soften. So I'll turn up the effect to maximum, and now we just start going over the area. And what this does, it just sort of integrates all the high and low parts. So if I just hold it here, you'll see the textures are gradually smoothing out. So this actually takes a little bit of time, but it's sort of well worth it in the end. The soften tool is not that expensive as opposed to the elevation leveling tool. That thing just chews through the money like no tomorrow. So I'm thinking this is probably still going to need some leveling actually. see what we come up with. We'll try the square actually, so this might give us a bit more surface area. Sort of speed up the... Yeah, here we go, now we're making some progress. So the best way I've found to do this is just go over your high spots, so give them a lot of time for the tool to smooth them out, and then just start going around in circles to sort of do the whole area. So we still want to retain as much of the characteristic of the hill as possible. We just want to get rid of that rigid roughness, so the harvesters and the seeders can roll over nicely. Yes, this has actually come along quite nicely now. This area here may be a problem. It's got quite a bit of a slope. Yeah, particularly here, so just sort of keep massaging that. And even here, so this is where I initially cut out too much of the ground. Alright, what I might do is I'll wrap this video up there. I'll terraform this, and in the next episode we'll look at the results. So thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.